Welcome in, everyone. This is Sean with MTG 808 Jr., and I've got Mike here.
What's going good?
And Eric is here in spirit. He helped us do a little bit of the prep for this video.
Yes.
But if you have not been following our channel recently, you may have missed that we announced that we are switching over to Artisan. So we have been a Standard Popper YouTube channel running the Standard Popper Youth Tournaments for a couple years now, and we are pulling the trigger to see how Artisan goes. For those of you unfamiliar with Artisan, it's basically commons and uncommons. Yeah. We're doing Standard Artisan on Arena. They've done Standard Artisan as well as Historic Artisan. So hopefully the format picks up outside of our tournaments. But even if it doesn't, like, I think that this format is going to be good for our tournaments. Like, I think the kids are going to have more fun. Some of the feedback we were getting from the kids that kind of stopped coming to the tournaments is that they were getting bored with the format.
And so I guess they want to see something a bit more powerful as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, while playing with just commons is good for, like, your basic understanding of the game and growing that, like, you want to play with flashy cards, right? So I think Artisan will allow the kids to play with more flashy cards, right? They've been really ramping up the power of the uncommons lately. But it'll also keep the format relatively accessible price-wise, right? Like, I think Narset is the only super expensive uncommon right now.
What is Narset, like $2, $3 about?
It's seen play in Legacy and Vintage, so I think it's like 5, 6, 7. No. It's just $2. Yeah. So, and that's the most expensive uncommon. That and Veil of Summer, which will probably get banned. Yeah. So right now the Artisan ban list is Cauldron Familiar, Cavalcade of Calamity, Gates Ablaze, and Persistent Petitioners. So with that ban list in mind, we think Veil of Summer is going to be on the watch list. We might need to ban it just for our tournaments because I don't think that Arena is going to ban it because it's a sideboard card and all of their events for Artisan are best of one. So we might be banning it in the future just for, like, our house rules. And mostly because A, it's absurd and stupid and powerful and it never should have been printed, but also B, it's super expensive, right? It's seeing play in Modern, it's seeing play in Legacy, it's seeing play in Vintage, so it's just really, really expensive for that reason, right? What is the price?
Veil of Summer. $3.
Yeah, it's like $3. So, while in the grand scheme of things, like if you're building a standard deck, $3 is like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, here, five, almost $6. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But you know, for Artisan, we're hoping that you can build an entire deck for like $20, less than that. And most of these uncommons are like a quarter, 50 cents, definitely under $1. So yeah. We are excited about Artisan. We're gonna start with going over just 3. We're calling them deck seeds, right? Because these are kind of like, oh, here are the powerful cards that you would build around. That's gonna start as the seed of the deck, and then we're not gonna give anyone complete deck lists just yet. We kind of want to see what the kids come up with and see if it'll be a little more organic. But we are gonna definitely highlight some of the seeds. So before we get into that, if you want to support the project, of course, liking the video, watching the video, subscribing to the channel, great way to support us. If you want to go above and beyond, check out the Patreon. Everything we do is patron funded. We would not be able to run tournaments, let alone scholarship tournaments, or generate this content if we did not have the support from our patrons. So thank you, patrons. If you want to join the ranks of our awesome patrons, check out our Patreon page.
Not spread the word, man. Tell your friends, anyone who's into Magic.
Indeed. Okay, so the first archetype that we are going to look at... Oh, not that one. I need this here. Okay, so the first archetype that we're going to look at is food. And this one holds a special place in my heart because Trail of Crumbs might be my favorite Magic card in Standard right now. And people are very love or hate with this archetype because... yeah, so Trail of Crumbs, 1 green, 1 colorless, enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, create a food. Whenever you sacrifice a food, you may pay 1 colorless or 1 generic. If you do look at the top 2 cards of your library, you may reveal a permanent card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So a permanent card is just any non-instant or sorcery, right? So you can get lands, you can get artifacts, you can get enchantments, you can get creatures,
Planeswalkers.
So as long as your deck is full of those things and full of ways to make and use food, then this is just like a absurdly powerful engine, because like every single one of your cards that says make a food turns into
draw a card,
gain 3 life and draw a card.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, the best interaction with Trail of Clarums, the one that's seeing play in Standard right now, is Cauldron Familiar and Witch's Oven. And Cauldron Familiar is banned because it would be absurdly powerful in this format. So you don't get that, but you still get Witch's Oven, right? Which is a good way of making food. And then, Savvy Hunter, right? So there's like lots of ways to generate food. You might play Fierce Witch Stalker. I don't know if you would play Giant Skewer or Foreboding Fruit.
Gingerbread Cabin.
Yeah, Gingerbread Cabin. You could even play Golden Egg. Bog Naughty, I think, is one of the good payoff cards.
What's Bog?
5 mana, 3/3 flyer, pay 3 mana, sack a food, target creature gets -3/-3 until its turn. Right, so you're playing with all this food, you're just going to have ways to make it and ways to use it. Giant Opportunity is the other one that might be a good payoff, right? Either you sack 2 foods and make a 7/7, or you make 3 foods. It's up to you.
Isn't Ginger Brute a food too?
Yeah, Ginger Brute is a food.
Sacrifice 2
so
Ginger Brute.
If you want to play Ginger Brute, you can. I do think Bacon to a Pie is very good, right? Kill your dude, make a food, which is essentially, with a Trail of Crumbs out, kill a dude, draw a card. So I think that like this archetype is going to be very powerful, even without access to Cauldron Familiar.
Yep.
You might even play Tempting, which comes in and makes a food, right?
I would be surprised if
they lose 3 life and draw a card.
I was thinking like Witch's Oven and Sanitarium Skeleton. I mean, that's way later in the game, but that'd be you sack the skeleton to the oven, you recur it, and then
So I think there's a bunch of different ways that you can build this archetype, but the important thing is that the powerful payoff engine-y cards are there. So you think about these as your starting point. You're probably going to want to play some you might play some other non-food synergy creatures. You'll definitely play some more removal on top of just Bacon to a Pie. But yeah, Curious Pair. You might even play Curious Pair.
Create a food token.
Yeah. Okay. So that was our first deck idea we wanted to put out into the universe. The next one is Blood for Bones, and it goes really well with Scholar of Ages. So this is like this was the artisan deck that I built for the very first event that they had on Arena, and I just had the time of my life playing this deck. So Blood for Bones, I think this is one of the more powerful sorceries that we have available at Uncommon. So like, this in itself is a good build around. You don't have to play it with Scholar of Ages, but I think Scholar of Ages is one of the better payoffs. But Blood for Bones, 3 colorless and a black for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast it, sack a creature. And then you return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield, and then another creature from your graveyard to your hand.
Damn.
So you're sacking a creature, but you're getting 2 creatures back, and one of them goes directly into play. Now, the loop with this is, like, you sack your Scholar of the Ages, and then you put it directly back into play with Blood for Bones, and another creature back to your hand, and then Scholar of Ages comes into play, you get back your Blood for Bones, and another instant or sorcery. So, if you are playing this in a deck with, like, Cloudkin Seer, maybe Sanitarium Skeleton, just to have, like, stuff around for Blood for Bones. I was playing, like, Tomebound Lich. Let's see.
And there's a let's see.
Let's just look at the gold cards. So you can play Thought Erasure. You can play
where's Tomebound Lich?
Tomebound Lich is this guy, right? 3 mana, Death Touch, Lifelink. When it comes into play, or when it deals combat damage to them, you draw a card and discard a card. Right, so you can get your Scholar of Ages into the graveyard early and then bring it back before turn 7 with Blood for Bones. There's no shortage of good removal in this color pair, right? So you're gonna just stay alive and then just shut the door on the end game with this loop. right? If they don't have a way to counter Blood for Bones, then you're just going to get tons and tons of advantage.
I think at the same time you can back it up like with I think Connive and Concoct was it a card? No, is that not? No,
that's a rare.
That's a rare. Never mind.
Yeah.
Cancel that.
But the split card for blue black is pretty powerful. So yeah, I think Tyrant Scorn is legal. Lots of good options to build around this color pair.
And you can go with try to go with the Surveil package too. I mean, because if you want to pitch cards going to
I think like if you wanted to play a dedicated Surveil deck, you might not play this combo because like Disinformation Campaign is another kind of engine-y card, but that might go into this deck or it might be its own deck. I don't know. It depends. I did not build it with Disinformation Campaign in it when I put this deck together, but I
don't want to pay off like what.
Yeah.
For some reason, when just thing is, I was thinking about Salvage of Secrets and Soul Salvage, last season.
Yeah, well, I was sad that loop went out of Standard Pauper, but it was because they printed Scholar of Ages instead of Salvager of Secrets. So, I mean, like here we can take a look at just like the big fat creatures that are available in Artisan. So I don't know if there's too much that's worth reanimating here. Lotleth Giant might be worth reanimating, but I think that's a different deck.
Yeah.
Dragon Mage might be worth reanimating. Hey. So, like, yeah, Blood for Bones is powerful enough that, you might want to do other things with it besides Scholar of Ages, but I think that Scholar of Ages is the best thing. Oh, Meteor Golem might go in this deck, right?
I think Wrecking Beast, too.
So that is our second deck that we think would do well in the format. And then the last one that we're going to talk about in this video, we are going to make a couple more videos. We have a list of like 12-ish of these decks, but we're just going to do one more in this video. This card. Did you ever play any Throne of Eldraine Limited?
Negative.
Because this was like the card that, like, when you read it in the spoiler, it just looks like, meh, okay, this seems okay. And then it just overperformed better than, like, everyone thought that it would just reading it on paper. And it ended up being, like, one of the best cards in the limited format. So it's 3 colorless, 1 black. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, that creature's controller loses 1 life and you gain 1 life.
Okay.
So I think that this would be a very good foundation for like a tap-out control deck where you're just trying to like control the board. If they have a bunch of small creatures in play, you just slam Revenge of Ravens and then it like mitigates every 1 power creature just no longer does anything. The 2 power creatures, their effectiveness is cut in half. And you're draining them while you're doing it. So I think like if you're just playing a pile of removal spells, Revenge of Ravens, there it is. Ill-Gotten Inheritance is another way to end the game without needing to play creatures. And then the other one
was there that one vampire that pings you, that drains you when you get drained? The vampire?
The 5 mana one?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think like the appeal of a deck like this is that you have these powerful ways of winning the game that aren't creatures, right? So you can present your deck game 1 in a configuration where your opponent is going to have like, 8 to 12 dead cards in their deck if you're not playing any creatures. So if this deck is just like only playing removal spells and then these super powerful enchantments that can end the game, right? God Pharaoh's Statue, 6 mana, legendary artifact, spells your opponent cast cost 2 more to cast, right? You slow down your opponent and then you're draining them for 1 each turn.
Gosh.
Right? So this deck just wants to like invalidate the opponent's creatures and then just like win by attrition. So
I could see like a Planeswalker's deck with this.
Yeah. So like Cry of Carnarium is like one of the better sweepers that we have access to now that we have uncommons.
Disfigure.
Disfigure, Murder, all that jazz.
And you also have the color holders too.
You might play Bake into a Pie just to get the kill a creature, gain a life.
Noxious Grasp.
That would probably go in the sideboard. But the other one is you mentioned Planeswalkers.
So you have Omnixilis.
Yeah, Omnixilis here. He is a great win condition for a creatureless deck.
Whenever your opponent draws a card, yep. You could also go with let's see, black. I mean, if you want, oh wow, you can go blue-black and just play like the cover-up loop too, and just keep draining them. Whatever you do is
devious cover-up. Yeah. I mean, this deck could be mono black. You could pair it with blue. You can pair it with white.
Gadzooks. What else?
Yeah.
But you put Roscoe inside. Anything that any black planeswalker.
Yeah, Davriel might be decent.
Davriel. What is it? What does Davriel do?
So comes in with three mono planeswalkers, starts at 3 loyalty, -1, target player discards a card, and then at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or fewer cards in hand, it deals 2 damage to them.
Ooh.
So in terms of just like playing really powerful non-creature threats up the curve, like this is a really good foundation, and then you just support it with a bunch of spot removal, probably some card advantage.
You could you put Ashiok inside here because I think Ashiok is hybrid.
Yeah, you don't care about Ashiok. Like stopping your opponents from searching their decks and removing graveyards, I don't think is where you want to be. But if you are mono black, then you can play Foreboding Fruit for card advantage, right? And then you get your food tokens, draw some cards, get some food tokens.
Oh, that's just harsh. Oh man.
Yeah, so this is like the ultimate like
taxes banning.
Yeah. It's almost like a Pillow Fort deck too, though, because you're just like Revenge of Ravens is just like, oh, like you can't touch me, right? So, yeah, this is a lot of powerful non-creature effects. So, think about it as a starting point. So that is our 3 deck seeds for Standard Artisan for today. We're gonna stop here. But, keep your eyes peeled for future videos. We do have at least 9 more decks that we're going to talk about. So this format seems like super wide open. It seems like there's lots of options. And the best part is it's super cheap.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is it for us. Hit that like button. Let us know what you think of the decks. Also, let us know if there is an Artisan deck that you want us to talk about.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do deck techs on any of the Artisan decks yet. But if there's one that you're super excited about, let us know, and we'll get it into the content cycle somewhere. But that's it for today's video. Thanks for stopping by. We will catch you next time. Peace.
Laters.